Hey there, Grandpa Jim coming to you again. One of the things a lot of homeowners like to do over time is to replace fixtures, lighting fixtures, fans, etc. Uh, my house was built in the 1850s. Of course, there wasn't electricity here at that time, but over time, different fixtures have been added, moved, changed, etc. And the wife is not happy with the one that we have in here currently. So it is time to replace it. And I'm going to take you through this real quickly and show you some of the things to keep in mind as you go through and replace your fan or light fixture. The biggest thing or the most important thing for your safety is to make sure that you have the power off to that fixture, so that way you don't get zapped, which can kill you at worst. At least it's not going to feel real pleasant. Take it from me, I've been zapped more than once. So we're going to get right into it, and I'm going to show you some of the tools that you're going to need. We may end up needing some more depending on how this fixture is put together, but we'll go through and show you. Okay, so here we are, a couple of tools that are going to be very useful to have. Of course, handy dandy drill slash screwdriver, whatever you want to call it. It is a multifunction tool that is awesome to have. We're going to have our dikes and knife, little utility knife there. I also have a regular screwdriver and a Phillips head screwdriver because a lot of times you can't use the power drill to get into some of the places. And these last two things are your meters. So this one is your basic meter. I bet you could probably get this for $5 at Harbor Freight or Tractor Supply or any number of places that sell devices like this. This is just a volt ohm meter, and what we're going to be dealing with is voltage, and we're going to be dealing with AC voltage, which you can see over here is in the red. So what is needed for this device is to set it to the right voltage levels. So in this case, this meter has 1050, 250, and 1000 volts. Since we're dealing with 110 here, I know this is 110 at my house and on this fixture. We're going to set it to 250, which is the maximum voltage that this can handle at that setting. And we have our two leads, red and black. It's AC, so there's not really a positive or a negative. There's just a neutral and a hot, and a ground. So all you're going to do is put this between two wires, and I'll show you this as we go along. But that is the cheap and easy one. If you don't have a meter, this one is real cheap. This is my meter, and it is a classic. You can see it is from Radio Shack. I couldn't tell you how many years ago I bought this, but it has served me very well. It has a little stand in the back, so I can set it on a table and look at my readings. It also is a voltometer, and it allows me to switch just to voltage and then put it on auto, and we are going to put it on AC. That is the symbol to let you know it is AC instead of DC. DC, you're just going to see flat lines like that. Okay? So you're not going to see voltage if you have it on DC and you're measuring an AC circuit. So always make sure you're set for the type of voltage and the power, or the amount of voltage. All right, now we're going to get into the fan. And first part that we're going to do with this fan is we're going to take off all of the globes and the light bulbs, and then we're going to take off the paddles, which each one of these paddles is 2 screws in there. So we're just getting rid of all the excess weight, so that way when I get into it and start taking it apart, which you can see up here, there's a screw on that side, and there's going to be another like screw on the other side that's holding this on, and this is the cover, so I'll be able to see inside where the fan gets hung, and also I should be able to see the wires at that point. So let me take it apart and I will get back to you in just a couple of minutes. Okay, so here's something I failed to mention, that when I was taking it apart, because this does have lights on it, it's not just a fan. Down below here is where the light connects to the power. Okay, so if you don't have a light on the fan, you can ignore this, but this is where all, in this case 4 lights, are wired off of the same hot and neutral. You can see the hot and neutral come down through this centerpiece here. Okay, there's only 1 white and 1 black. So you know those are the ones that you need to worry about. So right now, if I pull the switch, I got light. So that means that my power is still on. I don't need to use my meter to see that it is on. However, if I wanted to use my meter, I could. So now I'm going to go turn off the power and make sure that I am safe to go. Okay, and here we go. So now I got the lights just dangling, and this is the cover for the main part of the fan, and you're going to be able to see up in here in a couple of minutes, but the wires are up there, and that's a fan base mount. So all I have to do is take off those 2 wire nuts, and I'll drop all of this and be left with just that main part of the fan. And we'll be back next. Alright, so now I got the fan dropped. There's 4 nuts being held on these studs here. And what's nice is this is, and you'll see this on a box that's installed right. It's actually got a little hook there, so after you get everything ready to go, put it on the hook, so that way then you can do your wires. Now, one of the things to keep in mind about this is, because we have the light and the fan, there's a hot wire that's being run down, so that way you can turn the fan on without having to turn the lights on or off. So there's going to be a hot wire. Actually, there's really 2 hot wires and 1 neutral, and then of course your ground. The other hot wire is always hot. The other one here is hooked up to the switch. So that's why it's important to have your meter, even though, because everything's shut off, down at the breaker panel, you should be okay, but still use your meter, make sure that everything is shut off. I have been whacked before because that run is not shut off. Anyways, we'll go ahead and disconnect the wires and check out the power next, and then we'll get started hooking up the new one. Alright, just like so many other projects, this one's not quite as straightforward as you would think. What we had on there was this piece, this mounting piece, and there are 2 screws way outside here, and those were just screwed into the lath. This is a plaster ceiling, and anyways, the original box was just shoved up inside. This is the box where most fans would mount to. So I had to finagle my way up in there with a screwdriver and a pair of pliers to pull it down. So now I will be able to mount the, just like that, nothing goes exactly as planned. So this is the new mounting piece here. You can see it has 2 screws go in there. So of course I wouldn't be doing this if the power was on. So zip this up through here. So the wires are sticking down. Be careful that you don't nick the wires as you put this up in here. Or at least you don't want to nick the insulation of the wires. So what I'm going to do now is get one of my screws and get it started. Actually, we're going to need to get different screws for this. Alright, so we'll be back in a minute after I get some new screws. Alright, so things didn't go anywhere near the way I planned. This is old work, and it is a mess up inside there. There's no way for me to attach the box. I need to put a new box in, and I can't. So what I'm going to do is just attach this piece of wood up in there. Got it attached through the lath work here, that wood, and then I'm going to attach the fan holder to that, and we'll see if we can get this to work. Okay, so I was able to mount that mounting bracket by attaching 2 screws into that board that I put up in the ceiling, and I attached through the lath board there. Now I have the fan hanging by the hook so I can do the wiring. So the first wire, the blue wire, and then just go black black and white white, and then we'll test, see if it works. Okay, so I got it wired up and it's hanging on the hook. I wasn't going to finish it off until I tested it. So light switch works, fan works. Now we're going to turn the switch off. So the light's off and the fan should still work, which it does. So that means that it is wired right. I'm just going to go double check the wiring, make sure everything's tightened up, and I guess Sasha wants to get into the video too, but we'll let her run around. Now here we go. It is up, attached, and you can see there's 2 screws on this side, 2 screws on the other side that hold the cover on. And after I did that, I tested the fan, make sure that still worked, make sure I didn't have any loose wires up in there, and lights work. And all I gotta do is put the fan blades on, lights up, and the globes on, and we'll show you the finished project in a couple of minutes, and I will be back. And there we go. There's the finished product with the lights on, and didn't turn the fan on because that won't show up really well. but probably should have taken about 45 minutes. Ended up taking an hour and a half because of the ceiling, which I forgot is plaster with lath, and should have figured the box was not mounted properly after I took off the old fan. But that said, it is all done, and I think Grandma Barber is happy.
Very happy.
So she's happy, I'm happy, and project done. Now it's time for the cleanup, put away all my tools and pieces and parts. Till the next time, it's Grandpa Jim signing off. And don't forget to subscribe to take a look and see what's next up on the list.